What is up, vampires? Today I'm back with a video. Today we are here with some entitled parent stories. Today it might just be one, because this is the story, and it's super long. So it's posted by Fred's Red 9 days ago. My entitled mother tried to kill me. This is why I'm no longer in contact. And it's an extra long story, that's why. I've posted a few stories about things my entitled mother has done and why I no longer speak to her. And I've had some people say I should give her a second chance. Here's a list of reasons why that will never happen. It's in sections, so it's easier for you to read. Thank you. My sister will be referred to as Sis. Played favorites and destroyed my belongings at age 6. I first noticed my mother playing favorites, my younger sister, who's 3 years younger than me, when I was 6 years old, Christmas 1997. My sister got all the big presents, and I got a few cheap bracelets and an ornament. My dad bought us all rollerblades for Christmas that year, and the next day we were outside trying them on. My sister, 3 at the time, fell over and hit her head and began crying. My mother came out of the house and began screaming at me, assuming I pushed her, which I didn't. She wasn't hearing it, though, and sent me to my room. A few minutes later, she came into my room into a rage and smashed all my belongings, including my Christmas presents. Half an hour later, she came in and said her exact words, "Your room's a fucking mess. Pigsty. Clean it up now." When I asked her about it the next day, she claimed to not know what I was talking about. Freaked out when I got my period. Do I have to read? If you've ever seen the movie Carrie, you will understand what happened. No, I was about to. Okay, we're not reading that one. I don't feel comfortable reading that one. Fine, we'll read it. If you've seen the movie Carrie, which I have not, you will understand what happened. My mother isn't as psychotic as Carrie's mom, and she's not religious, but she went really weird. She started asking, oh my god, now I really do regret reading, if I passionately hugged anyone, how heavy it was, if I knew what that meant. But she wouldn't tell me. If I was ashamed of myself, and a lot of other rude questions. And every time I'd ask her to buy. You know, I decided we won't continue. Wouldn't call an ambulance when I fell off a horse, but called one when the same thing happened to my sister. I was 13 when this happened. My mom and my sister were really into riding horses, but I never was. But I was so desperate for my mom's approval that I started going to pony classes with them. One day my horse got spooked by something and bucked me off. He was a really big horse. I almost landed on top of the barbed wire fence and was knocked out for a few minutes. I woke up to my mother screaming at me saying, "What the bloody hell do you think you're doing, stupid?" She didn't even help me up. A few moments later, the same thing happened to my sister. This time my mom freaked out and came into the house screaming at me to get off my useless, lazy butt and help my sister while mom called an ambulance. My sister wasn't hurt. She'd fallen off into a small horse onto a pile of dirt, but she was milking the attention for everything it was worth. She was taken to the hospital and didn't go to school for the rest of the week. Your sister seems entitled. Takes down my closet door because it made a noise when I closed it. When I was 12, I lost the privilege of having a bedroom door. Oh, I thought it said closet door. The latch wouldn't click shut unless you gave it a harder push, and it would swing open if it wasn't click shut. My mom refused to fix it. One day when I was closing the door so I could change clothes, it made a little too much noise for my mother's liking. She burst in the door, screaming at me to shut the door up. Then she took out the hinges and took it away. From 12 until 14, I had no bedroom door and no privacy to change my clothes or sleep with the door closed. My sister and her friend broke into the school, but it was somehow my fault. This happened when I was 13. It was during school holidays, and my sister and her BFF broke into the school and wrote out merit awards to each other, which was obviously a stupid idea, and is how they were caught. After this happened, I got the feeling that my mom was angry at me for what they'd done. This was confirmed many years later. The next story is a continuation to this. admitting to my friend's mom how much she hated me. I always knew that my mom didn't like me, but the most I ever told was that I was an accident and that she regretted having me. But I heard from my best friend's mom a few years ago exactly what my mom thought of me. My friend was over for a sleepover one weekend, and my mom was talking to my friend's mom. These are some of the things my mom said. I just can't believe that sis would do something like that. It's more OP. It's more of OP what would do. I'd never done anything that would give her that idea. I don't know why anyone would be friends with her. OP. If I were in school, I wouldn't be friends with her. Destroy my belongings because she couldn't find the broom. This happened one summer weekend day when I was 13. My mom burst into my room and demanded to know where the broom was. I said I didn't know and I hadn't been outside all day. She accused me of hiding the broom and began throwing my belongings at me. In fear of my life, I ran out the house and ran to the police station at the other end of the campus. This was 2003 and I didn't own a mobile phone. When we got back to the house and police asked her what happened, she put on her sweet innocent face and said, I don't know what she's talking about. She must be on her period or something. The policeman believed her and wouldn't hear my side of the story, and he left. Her verbal abuse turned physical. Her abuse was mostly verbal and throwing things at me. Until I was 14, she started getting into these fits of rage over nothing. Couldn't find the remote, slap in the face. Got angry over nothing, pushing me into a wall and throwing me and my sister out of the house. Couldn't find something to watch on TV, punched me in the face. Pushed me on the ground and kicked me in the back. Her horse didn't win at the show, my fault. Her car won't start, my fault. Run out of money, my fault. The list goes on. She did this until I was 15. When I had enough, I warned her, take one step further and you'll regret it. Needless to say, she regretted it. The glass jar smashed the side of her face, gave her the message. She never touched me again. After that, I moved in with my dad. Physically abused my autistic brother. I won't get into too much detail with this one, but I found out a few years ago that my brother used to rip chunks of hair out of his head and many other atrocious things. Wanted to turn off the life support when I was in a coma. When I was 17, New Year's Eve 2007, I suffered a spinal cord injury and brain injury after falling off a roof. I was placed under an induced coma. My dad was with me the whole time, but it took my mom 3 weeks to come, even though her partner at the time could have paid to get her there sooner. All she knew was that I had an accident, was in a coma. She came with things to bury me with. My parents were given the option to turn the life support off. My dad said no, having faith that I'd pull through. But my mom said yes and threw a tantrum when she didn't get her wish. So instead of burying me with what she bought, they were placed on my bed while I was in a coma. Rehabilitation was hard and traumatic, so I don't like talking about it, so I'll skip ahead to the next thing. Threw a tantrum after my dad told me. While I was in rehab after my injury, my dad let it slip my mom wanted to turn the life support off. Until this point, I didn't know this. I called my mom and told her I never wanted to see her again. That if I'm dead to her, then she's dead to me. Tried to steal money from her kids after her dad died. In 2019, my dad and my uncle, his brother, died in a plane crash. That sucks. I was 19 and my sister 16, my brother 22. My mother was there the next day to offer her support, but nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted her there. My entire family despises her. She started asking questions about the will and his assets, information we didn't give her. We didn't know the cause of death for 3 weeks after his death, and lo and behold, she got nothing. The will was written before my parents had even met. The will gave everything to my dad's siblings, and they gave it all to me and my siblings. How nice of them. So long as we promised that our mother got nothing. She tried a few times in the past few years to get money from us, but we wouldn't talk to her. I haven't spoken to my mother in about 7 years, and I don't ever plan on seeing her again. She's a toxic person, and life is better without her. My brother still talks to her from time to time, but me, my sister, and the rest of the family want nothing to do with her. And me and my sister are really close. She's not entitled, and I hold no resentment towards her. I love her to bits. Okay, never mind. Thanks for reading. Okay, well, I guess we can do some more stories, because there's only be right back. Okay, this one was posted by Dan the Evil Killer. Until parents screams at me to speak English in the Philippines. So basically, before I moved to America, I used to live in the Philippines. Now my country is known for its hospitality. It is, and there isn't a lot of Karens here. Now I was 16 at the time. Me and my friends went to a shopping mall. We hanged out in the food court. Oh my god, I can't speak. Food court and eaten a lot of food until Karen goes inside the food court with her kids. Now in the Philippines, English is like our second language, but I was very bad at it and was more comfortable talking with my mother tongue. Translation and conversation might not be accurate since it was 10 years ago. Okay. Karen sits in a chair where she can hear what we are saying, but then she confronts us. Speak in English, you idiot Asians. You idiotic little dog. Don't you know you're in a country where English isn't the main language? Yeah, woman, I expect more intelligence from a girl with a child. How dare you talk to me like that, you stupid kids. We really don't care about we really don't care what you feel about what we say. You're an idiotic woman who expects Asians to speak English. Karen with her kids storms out of the food court and we have a good laugh about how entitled she is. Okay. So the cast for so this story is by Pokemon95. Pokemon, really? Bro, that's the same name my mother uses for for Pokemon Go. Cast M for me, EM for Banshee, P for Very Nice Police Officer. Also, we've moved locations. If I try to sound different because I'm eating. This takes place in my hometown. A house had been built right next to ours over the course of the past year and a half, and a small family moved into it. We had never met the family, as we are usually not wants to go out of way to meet people, so it came as a huge surprise when this happened. We have a backyard, which is private. It is surrounded by a fence with a locking gate. Entitled Mother has a deck that overlooked our backyard. Midwinter, our dryer decided to die, and we had to take all the clothes to the closest laundromat to dry at least once a week. Once spring rolled around, I decided to put up a clothesline in our backyard to help save money. It makes sense. See, if you save money that way, then you will actually be able to buy a working dryer. A few weeks went by, and at least once a week, I would be out there hanging loads of laundry to dry. On one occasion, our neighbor, Entitled Mother, was out on her deck talking on her phone. I paid her no mind and just hung my clothes to dry. As I was heading back inside, I heard the dreaded Banshee screech that was Entitled Mother. Hey, boy! Why did I just say it like, hey, boy, I'm a woman and I have my hair cut short with most of it buzzed, so I can see why she assumed I was a boy. I looked over mostly because of the noise she made. Not because she was talking to me, but unfortunately she was. You can't hang those. You can't hang those here. What, my clothes? Yeah, you can't hang your filthy underwear out here where I have to look at them. What do my kids see? Are you some kind of pervert? Lady, it's my backyard, and if I want to hang my laundry, if I want my laundry to dry in my backyard, I can. And with that, I flipped her the usual sign to go pleasure herself and went inside. After a half hour later, I heard a knock on my door. When I answered it, there was a police officer standing at my door. Good afternoon, ma'am. He knew I was the woman, yet somehow Entitled Mother didn't. He knew I was a woman. Oh my god. We received a call about a pedophile in this residence trying to flash children. Would you happen to know anything about it? Seriously? Entitled Mother just screamed at me for hanging my underwear on my clothesline out back. I assure you, nothing else is happening. Do you mind if I look? With nothing to hide, of course. I showed the officer my clothesline, and we could clearly see Entitled Mother glaring at us with a smug look on her face from her dad. The officer thanked me, went to speak with the entitled mother, and that was it. With more reason, I will be more likely to buy underwear. Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. You have a clothesline, but you don't have underwear? I'm concerned. What's happening? I just go black. Okay. Last story for today. Mother made her 10-year-old daughter cut her hair and threw a tantrum when it wasn't good enough. Posted by the same person who posted the first one. I've got the pleasure of having Karen as my mother, and you guys seem to like these stories, so here's another one. Little backstory before I begin. My mom hated me my whole life, favoring my little sister over me, and mentally and physically abusing me most of my life until I left to live with my dad. I spent a lot of my young life trying to win her affection by doing the same things my sister did. Like going on pony rides, which I didn't really want to until I eventually gave up and didn't care what she thought anymore. My mom is 5'8", broad-shouldered, and a bit overweight. Give me a second. And a bit overweight. I had to find where I was. But strong from doing farm work most of her life. Needless to say, I was scared of her back then. This happened when I was 10 years old in 2000. So you're 30. My mom is a huge choosing beggar and hates spending money when she doesn't have to. This including going to the hairdresser. My sister was 7 at the time, so I was her next choice for this mistake that she only made once. She came into my room and asked if I would cut her hair for her. I really didn't want to, and I practically begged her not to make me. But I was still in that stage of wanting her approval, so I reluctantly said yes. Big mistake. So not knowing what I was doing, I cut her hair. Big surprise, I did a horrible job. It was salvageable if she went to the hairdresser to get it fixed, but she was too cheap and stubborn to do so. I was grounded for the rest of the week except for going to school. I was made to do all my sister's chores with a bit extra, such as shoveling the horse crap and the paddocks into a bucket and carting them to the bin. Anyone who's ever smelled fresh horse poop will understand why this task was especially bad. And any other inventive chores she could come up with. For the rest of the week, she stomped around the house, snarky comments like, "Why can't you just be like your sister? At least she would have done a better job than old people, then why didn't you have her do it? I can't go out looking like this. If we starve, then I know whose fault it is. Bloody useless kids. Why don't I have enough money? Oh, I know why." Meaning it was my fault that she didn't have a job and relied on my dad's child support payments for income. It wasn't until I was finally 18 that I finally stood up to her and her BS, which involved a glass jar to the head, and she didn't touch me after that, and I moved with my dad. We already know this, so I'm not gonna read this rest. That's about it. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you later. Oh, actually, picture some special stuff coming in the future, because I've got some special videos coming up. Bye!